I had the best intentions, and you probably did too, by purchasing these products to make your home run more smoothly. Instead, in the end, they may actually be setting you back and making things worse. So we're going to look at the things you may already have around your home and rethink them a little bit so they can work for you and not against you. And some of these things I have recommended to you over the years, and I'm now going back on what I said, but that's okay because we're always learning, growing, changing things up. And the first one is going to be catch-all bins. It's great in theory, just get the clutter out of your immediate sight and put it away and get to it later. The problem is, do we really get to it later, or does the clutter bin just become overflowing and become another source of stress? I've canceled the clutter bin. There's a couple solutions here. I am more focused on constantly saying, don't put it down, put it away, and focusing and being more intentional as I go about my day. You're gonna put it down anyway. You might as well take the 3 extra steps and put it where it goes. The real issue with catch-all bins is they tend to be very deep, and that's where you get into the deep problem because you can't even see what's at the bottom, yet alone use it, organize it, put it back. So if you do have bins around the home, the better solution that I've realized is having shallower bins, shallow drawer dividers, or a small stair basket that you have to empty and address regularly. Or if you really can't let go of your clutter bins, you can have a very strict policy. Like right now, I have a strict policy with my laundry. It has to go away the day that I do it. I have to put it away that day. So you can have a similar policy with your clutter bin, but let's be honest, you really trust yourself. Similarly to this is my philosophy on letting dishes soak. A lot of times we just put it there, and what happens is it's just an excuse to procrastinate. And I've learned it's always your future self will be glad you just take the extra 5 seconds to put your things away or put the dish in the dishwasher or on the rack rather than let it soak. If you use your handy scraper tool, any mess is going to come off your pan. Next mistake are overly complicated drawer dividers that have you organizing by visual aesthetics versus usage and frequency. We need to shift from aesthetic organization to practical organization. And I like to use the method, it has to pass the drop test, meaning you can easily put back the item by tossing it, dropping it back. If you have to take out a whole stack of drawers and open something from the bottom and remove it from packaging and put something back in, you've lost me. You've lost the plot. You have to make things very easy for yourself. A recent system that I have implemented that's been great, and it definitely passes the drop test, is the purse bowl. So it's just a bowl that's in your entryway. When you get in, you empty out the contents of your purse, your wallet, your keys, your makeup bag, whatever it is, because if you're anything like me, you're switching bags frequently and it just has everything right there. The next time you're leaving the house, everything is in one place and it makes it so much easier. Next product that we all buy with good intentions, but most of the time ends up just becoming clutter. And that is kitchen gadgets that serve one very specific purpose, and that purpose is not really something you do all the time. I actually love a kitchen gadget, but now I have a rule. I will only buy a kitchen gadget for a task that I do all the time. Like my garlic cutter gadget, yes, I'm a garlic girl. So this is something I know I will use. So for example, there's this viral chicken shredder and I'm like, oh, that looks great. But then I think to myself, how often do I make chicken, let alone shredded chicken? So how often am I going to use it? So I like to think, is this something that I would use at least multiple times a month? I will show you now, for me, my top most used kitchen gadgets, and then the drawer of kitchen gadgets that really rarely get touched. And another thing similar to the kitchen gadgets, also kitchen appliances that just sit on your countertops collecting dust and just visually make your countertops look cluttered. That is a specific pet peeve of mine because visual clutter stresses me out. So my rule for my countertops is I will only keep things on the countertops that I use at least weekly. Stand mixer, a bread maker, even my blender. I'm not really making smoothies that much lately, so they get put under cabinets so they're not creating visual clutter. Next is any type of stackable storage that requires 2 hands to get to. And that is okay for the garage, for long-term storage. But for short-term storage, like under your bathroom counter, there's different types of storage. I always recommend open versus close because that's just an extra step. Any extra step is going to cause resistance, and any resistance is going to make the system harder to use and potentially fall apart. This next one, this was a hard one to swallow, and I had to realize it's a problem, and that is hidden storage. It sounds really nice in theory, and I will show you specifically some of the hidden storage in my home. I have this, it's like a beanbag chair that a lot of my kids' stuffed animals go in, so you can't see it. Great concept, right? Hidden storage, what I find that means is I forget it even exists. So yes, there are some circumstances where hidden storage could be a good solution, like with your shoes in the entryway. Something like this is something that will be utilized on a regular basis. You're not going to forget about your shoes. You have to be real with yourself. Sometimes out of sight means out of mind. This is another one that I've been guilty of purchasing and even recommending many years ago. Overly complicated cleaning or organization products that add an extra step. Like they sound good in theory, but are you really going to use? So one kind of gimmicky cleaning product that I used a few times and then forgot even existed was this folding board. And it was great in theory because it just makes folding your t-shirts so easy. And I used it a couple times, but the truth is I don't have that many t-shirts, things that actually fit within this framework. But you just have to be realistic of the frequency of use for your specific lifestyle. But one product that seemed gimmicky, but still to this day is one of my most used, is the laundry turtle, which is a little gadget you put into the washer, you flip it, and all of your clothes from the washer go right into the dryer. This for me was a specific pain point if you are somebody with mobility issues, joint issues, you have back problems. One of my friend's moms was like, the laundry turtle is the best thing you ever recommended. So in some cases, more gimmicky items could really be useful. But the bigger theme here is you have to really think about your lifestyle and frequency of use. Make sure that whatever you're bringing into your home is helping more than it's causing friction and resistance. And the bigger picture is just simplifying your systems and simplifying the products and things you have in your home. It's less to manage, it's less to organize, and it's less to have in your mental load. Set up simple, easy to maintain systems over highly aesthetic, Pinterest-worthy systems that might look good in a picture to post, but aren't going to be functional in day-to-day life. For any of you who are still watching to this point in the video, head over to my Instagram stories. So click on my profile picture, check out my stories, and I have a giveaway just for my IG story viewers. I am much more active on there almost daily. So make sure you keep up with me there. And with all of that said, thank you so much, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.